If you're thinking about voting for this gimp at election time, watch this.
Never forget Masters of Science students sitting in my office saying we're going to Australia or America. Why? Because we're involved in genetic engineering and we won't be able to do it here in our own country because our rules are stuck in the 20th century. Well, good news, New Zealand has entered the 21st century, 25 years after many other countries, I agree, but we've legalized the use of genetic technology that can make it easier to reduce carbon emissions, that can make it faster to grow crops, that can cure diseases that have dogged people for years. And finally, it's actually allowed to happen here in New Zealand under new laws introduced by this government that act backed as part of our coalition agreement. And that makes me excited for our future.
Oh, I don't know how anyone believes in this guy. Graduates are not leaving because they can't do genetic engineering in New Zealand. It's a matter of fact, they can. They just do it in contained research facilities where there is excellent safeguards for the environment and human health. That's why we don't have any genetic contamination throughout all of our crops or native species in New Zealand. So this kind of fear of missing out, this fear of loss tactic that David is using is very common for politicians to use because fear is often a bigger motivator for voters than it is for the motivation to gain something. So notice what he's doing there. He also makes some statements that it's going to make crops grow faster or help improve carbon emissions. Where have we heard all these things before? Pure speculation, and a lot of these claims are failed promises. They never ever end up coming to fruition. They're leaving mostly for better paid opportunities in Australia, in places like America, where these countries are already like the wild, wild west of GMOs. They've got systemic contamination everywhere, biotech scientist paradise. Go do your experiments out in the fields over there. They've already fucked it, so let them have it. Go hard. New Zealand is not jumping in the fire with any of those experimental, unproven technologies yet, and it probably shouldn't, because you're already revered as a non-GMO natural food producer globally, and your export-driven economy is super successful because of that. So just remember, if you're voting for David, come election time, you're voting for a genetically modified food supply, selling out of your super successful international non-GMO exporter brand and premium markets, and farmers, he's selling your farming viability down the road with it as well.